Hello and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky and I'm here today with
Justin DeClue.
And Colin Cunningham.
Oh, Canada.
Wait, what are you doing?
Oh, man. Don't we do this at the beginning of every episode? Aren't we true patriots?
Yeah,
We're a very patriotic bunch here.
Did either of you ever go to movie theaters where they had the national anthem beforehand?
Never.
No.
Really?
Was that a thing they used to do?
It was the thing I used to do. Yeah, I remember going to
Back
movie
in the
theater.
30s, we used to have to stand because the Queen would walk by.
Yeah. No, you'd go to theaters and, you'd have to watch the national anthem play before.
Did you have to stand up?
You did if you were respectful. And I remember my dad getting really pissed off because we were standing and then there were these teenagers in the same row that weren't standing. And my dad just shook his head and he's like, God, disrespectful.
Well, I learned something new today. I had no idea this happened at
they
movie
used to do
theaters.
it. Well, they
I
also,
didn't know that happened either. I mean, I would have to sing the national anthem in French every day at school.
We did that too.
Yeah, we were allowed to, I didn't go to French immersion, so we were allowed to not sing it in French, but we would have to sing it in English and just stand there while the French version played.
I'm pretty sure you could also smoke in movie theaters when I went.
And in hospitals. We should point out that the history of Canada is built on blood and imperialism. All right, so let's get on to the movie we're talking about.
What country
so are most
isn't?
countries, unfortunately. So
is it really that bad? Aren't all countries done that way?
Yeah.
Come on.
So this is the long-awaited Patreon request episode that was delayed for like 4 weeks because it was 2 weeks, and then because we were requested an episode. So the winner was Grover51, and they wanted us to do a movie that is not available anywhere. It is only available from the director on eBay.
You put that cold hard cash into his hand,
Yes.
supporting his views that are discussed in this film.
Now, it was relatively cheap. I think overall it came to like $30 Canadian.
$30? That's insane.
Well, it was actually $10, but with like the shipping and handling and the exchange rate and whatnot.
You do get a music video, though. That's one of the DVD extras.
Yeah, so now we own this DVD. But Grover51 said, the only reason I know this movie exists is because I had a relative work on it.
Which I feel like is the only way anyone would know this movie.
Yeah. It's like, he probably got a free copy or something from the director.
Yeah, that relative during Christmas, he gave that to all of his family members. I've always wanted to do that with one of my movies, but I've never timed it quite right. It's like, Merry Christmas, everybody gets Impossible Horror. That's the only gift you get.
Or
You
your
can
aunt
still
would be
do
like,
that. You don't have to time that right. Just do it.
Everybody has it. So it's too late.
It's on streaming now. So it's called The Last Eagle Scout. It's from 2012.
Bruce Willis, Marlon Wayans.
Every time I look at the
Tony
title,
Scott.
like, they barely say Eagle Scout in this movie. Because they're Boy Scouts.
What?
That's what they are.
No, they say Eagle Scout constantly.
He's got to get his eagle. It's a thing.
Oh,
Eagle
that's right. His Eagle.
is the
But
top
they're
level.
technically the Boy Scouts of America, right? That's the organization.
Yeah, as far as I know, and I think Eagle is just a rank, like when you become.
What movie are you confusing this title
It's The
with?
Last Boy Scout.
Oh.
It's Shane
Tony
Black
Scott
written movie.
Shane Black written movie, yeah.
Oh,
Tony Scott, I think.
I guess this is
Yeah, that's what I said, didn't I? Or did I say Ridley?
I can't remember. It was like 2 seconds
Rewind
ago.
the tape.
Let's get to the bottom
Tony
of
Scott.
this.
Okay, there you go. I said Tony Scott.
God damn it. Start over.
So this movie
Yeah,
is...
It's not
this
really
movie?
the kind of movies we usually do. Because, like, we haven't done, like, a conservative... I guess God's Not Dead style movie, like religious righty kind of stuff.
This is like one of those religious movies, and a lot of them are not like as crazy as God's Not Dead. We watched one, you remember, that was basically about adoption, and it was about this family who adopted this little kid, but the kid had been like abused, and then their father wanted him back, and it was like a Lifetime movie, but it was for like religious people, but it wasn't like you're going to hell if you do this. It was very like preachy and like a family movie, and that's what this is.
God.
But it's political and it's Boy Scout propaganda.
But not in an interesting way. It's like,
no,
you know,
it's
I
also
was
really boring.
I was completely taken aback. It wasn't the kind of movie that I thought it was. I thought we were getting into, because the cover is like, you know, PC culture has taken over the world.
Can I
and all
just
this sort of
say, the cover looks like the moon landing. That's what it looks
yeah.
like to me.
Which was fake, so they could
Yeah, there
obviously,
you go.
you know, this film is filled with layers, and that's just one of them.
Yeah, I expected something like Postal, the video games Postal.
Oh, you thought it was going to be like crazy.
Yeah, crazy, like making fun of libs and all this sort of stuff, and like wacky, offensive humor and all that sort of thing. Not at all.
And it was I knew it wasn't going to be a comedy.
No, it was going to be very earnest.
I did not know that. And so like 20 minutes in, I just turned to April. I'm like, I thought this was a comedy.
What about that cover makes you think it's a comedy?
I don't know.
It's a person that you can't really see in this black void. And then in the background, there's an upside down American flag. And I didn't know what that meant.
Isn't he raising a flag?
No, it's in the background.
Oh, okay.
I thought that an upside down American flag was like a Nazi symbol or something, which it's not. No. It's not at all. And they tell you in the movie it means America's in distress. It means distress.
This came out in 2012.
Right.
And I guess it was made around 2011. So it is at the height of like Obama is the president and white people are oppressed.
Yeah, this is what's going to happen if Obama continues to be president.
It was made a little earlier than that. They say it on the commentary. I'm not sure how much earlier, but I think it took like 3 or 4 years to make.
Well, definitely Obama was the president when this was made. I would be shocked if he wasn't.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So this is like it posits, a world,
a dystopian Philip K. Dick-like future.
Yeah. Exactly. If the liberals were running everything, but it's like the worst part about it is it doesn't commit to that or do anything interesting with that concept.
I wish it was like worse, like that, like lies were genuinely unlivable because the liberals made things so bad, as opposed to the way it is in real life, just a slight annoyance.
Yeah. I think I thought it was going to be like, or I wish it was like an idiocracy. Like
I was just going to say that.
The whole world is completely different. Yeah. And I have to live like this. And there's a little bit of that, but then it kind of abandons it almost halfway through the movie for its conspiracy mystery plot.
You almost don't even notice the effect of what's happening in the world of the movie. Or like the world building is very weak.
But that's how they get you, Colin, because it's insidious.
It pops up, here and there, and you're like, oh yeah, this is like this alternate world, I guess, or something like that. I mean,
what it boils down to is that the last Eagle Scout can't show the American flag. That's all it really is.
Yeah, so it's come to a world in this future. Everything is considered offensive to people. So
and if you offend somebody, they can sue you, and it will ruin you financially.
Yeah, they have the PC police, literal police that drive around, and if you offend someone, so displaying the American flag is
you're making it sound like way crazier than it actually is.
I know. That's the thing.
It's very lame and mild.
Yeah, it's like all these concepts. Like there's comedy to be mined or anything to be mined from that concept. But they don't do anything with it. It's done in like the most bland, unimaginative way.
I gotta say that my favorite thing about the movie is how slick it is. Like, it is very committed to the bit. When you read the plot for this movie, you'd imagine, it's gonna be like, put the camera down, just film it, sloppy edits. Oh no, there's like steady cams and dolly tracks. It's shot on like cheap mini DV, but
it's low budget, but there are some good camera moves and confident shots, although a hell of a lot of Dutch angles.
Yeah, it doesn't look nice. It's obviously not lit very well. It isn't shot on a very nice camera.
Poorly lit and poorly colored.
But I think that what your reaction of it being boring comes from how slick it is, which just creates that divide between, there's nothing else for me to entertain, because it feels like anything I would see on television anyway.
Yeah, at least if it was incompetently done, I could, kind of make fun of that or something. Yeah. But we have to say, this is from Kels Goodman, and his claim to fame. This is right on the DVD cover, from the producer of Will It Blend.
So I had no idea what that was. I took a guess. I looked it up on YouTube, but I went, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Was it like a meme thing? Was it like an infomercial?
I don't know if it was a thing, but
it's a web series.
In the commentaries, it says he worked for Blendtec, who developed these blenders, and it was just some viral marketing campaign that he came up with, he and his buddy. So they would just blend. They did 150 videos, he said, different episodes of throwing various things into blenders. Will it blend? There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
So
now
the movie starts
Harry Potter
with a young boy and his father. I don't remember. Does it start at the in the auditorium when the congressman is doing the thing?
Yeah, the congressman whose name
is liberal congressman
Jude Marks.
Jude Marks.
All the names are very
obvious. Jude is very close to Jewish. Do you think that was...
maybe like Judas or something.
Mm-hmm. And he wants to focus on the environment and respect and down with Boy Scouts, because the Boy Scouts have to bring out the American flag on stage, and the audience is like, boo, and they throw garbage.
So we listened to only the first half hour of this commentary, which I have a feeling
boring.
there wasn't much more info after it, but apparently this was based on a real thing that happened where the Boy Scouts went out during some event.
It was a Democratic National Convention.
Oh, and they were booed. And he's like, they weren't booed as much as they are in my movie, but you got to exaggerate things.
So I should point out that this may be because the Boy Scouts of America had hundreds of sexual assault lawsuits filed against them. 1,200.
Yeah,
and they
I was
filed
reading
for bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm. They had to, so it was I think the national branch of the the Boy Scouts of America had to file for bankruptcy because they had they had 20,000 20,000
Just
pages.
a ridiculous amount, yeah.
20,000 pages related to sexual assault had to be released publicly. And they had so many sexual assault cases, they had to file for bankruptcy to protect from all the lawsuits that they were up against. So all the local chapters could still continue on, but I think the national office or something had to.
So could that have something to do with the booing?
I feel like it must be. What else would it be? Like,
I guess
come on.
They ain't booing the American flag.
No, this movie thinks that what if we lived in a world where people hated the flag and putting a flag up on your lawn would make people angry because that's offending other countries? It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but then they still do in the movie. Every September 11th, the Boy Scouts, the main character and his buddies, go around to various houses putting up American flags.
And what's weird about that is that it's allowed. What's not allowed is just if you don't want a flag, you don't have to have one. But how dare you if you don't want one?
Well, I think the one neighbor that didn't want one was saying he lives across the road from a lawyer. And he's like, oh, I think she was offended, and she called the PC police on me, and then
he goes, I don't want to offend anybody who is exercising their right not to have the flag up. It's a completely backward, stupid situation that I think is exaggerated on
it's
purpose.
like Kafka's The Trial.
It's not exaggerated in an interesting way or a fun way, or
like, can you imagine if it was like they killed people who had the American flag or something like that?
Yeah,
that I could enjoy.
Push it a bit more, and this is like The Purge.
Yeah, exactly. Like this movie is like all the corners are sanded off this thing, and there's just nothing. It's just like a big bland loaf.
Well, he
of white
said
bread.
that there were some scenes that he had to cut because people didn't get it. And they were like more political satire themes.
Yeah.
But we haven't watched all the deleted scenes yet. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. There
the senator walks out in like full Nazi garb. He's like, it's all about the numbers.
All right, well, let's get through all of the satire.
That's how you do satire.
PC things, because they're all like at the beginning of the movie. So apparently you have to wear a helmet in the shower. That's a thing. Mm-hmm. That's a new rule. And then so they're sitting down. It's treated like these new rules are just came out like that day, because the family is like reacting to them, and the daughter is like, okay, we can't say Christmas anymore, it's holiday neutral something, I forget what it is, but
right,
winter festival,
they canceled Christmas. You remember that, right?
That's the biggest threat to
you're not allowed to say
these
Christmas.
People is you can't say Christmas, and you can't have your red Starbucks cup or whatever.
Has anybody ever said, like, don't say Christmas?
No.
No, I don't think that's ever happened.
It's like a complete lie.
I worked at a grocery store when this was coming out, and no one was instructed to say anything. You could say whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would say happy holidays.
Because wouldn't you want to say happy holidays? Because you don't know what religious denomination or thing that they represent. Or you could say Christmas if that's what you like and you want to share it with the world.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. But, that's been a talking point for years. They canceled Christmas.
So that's like a thing. And so then his little brother is taking a shower and the sister is making him wear a helmet.
Well, it has a big sign.
How there's like a sign.
Yeah, there's a sign in their bathroom, their home bathroom.
Well, it looks like it was just printed out on their computer and taped to the shower door or something. So he has to wear this big cycling helmet while he's taking a shower.
That's like the one I have at my house that says "Turn the fan on." That's just to protect from mold.
April's dad. We stayed over one Christmas, and I guess you kids when you were growing up.
Yeah, that's been up for like a long time.
When they had showers, they always would never turn the fan
Turn the
on.
fan
So
on.
he has signs everywhere taped to the wall.
There's only 2.
If you're having a shower,
And April's like, I'm tired of this fascist police state.
you
Yeah.
should always turn off the shower fan.
So the funniest thing, not funny, stupid, is when he goes to school, there's like a metal detector to make sure they don't bring weapons in, but it's thin enough that if you're too wide, you can't go to school because this is also anti-fat people. So one
Right.
guy can't fit through and they're like, get out of here.
It's because the liberals are always telling
And
you
they're
not
like,
to eat junk food.
there's a name for it. It's like medical body health awareness or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
And I think
there's
even-
signs all over the place.
Aren't they? Didn't they ban like Twinkies or something too?
Yeah, they
didn't-
did.
I didn't
They
get
had
the I didn't
Twinkies.
get the Twinkie.
Remember the
thing.
principle? That's what I'm saying. It's so scattershot, and they don't really commit to it. You kind of just forget it happens. But in that one point, like the principal calls into his office and then confiscates his Twinkie
So why are Twinkies banned?
because they make
Because
you
they're
fat,
bad
I
for you.
guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's bad for you. You know how like they were limiting? Wasn't it in New York?
Yeah, they
Soda?
didn't want to have extra large soda. The people were like, ah!
people freaked out.
Yeah. It's like, I want my large
Soda is so bad for you.
It's the worst.
All they were doing was banning the like mega big gulps. Like
It's
big
like you
deal.
could buy 2 of them if you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's infringing on my freedom.
When you have a society that has so little, like white people that are middle class have so little things that are imposed upon them that the tiniest suggestion makes them freak. I mean, it's the stuff with the masks that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still happening. But all this world building aside, the plot of this movie it's about this young boy who is going to get his Eagle Scout. His dad died. He was a firefighter. He died tragically on the job.
Remember that because it's going to come back with a big reveal.
Yeah, so he's living in this PC world where people don't like the Boy Scouts, and he's about to get his Eagle Scout at scout camp, and
Okay, so I need to point out this scout camp looks incredibly dangerous.
hey, you're
And-
preaching to the choir.
That could be
Were
any
you guys
camp.
ever in scout camp? Because I was. I went through the beavers, and I guess it's the wolves in English. It's louveteaux in French.
Yeah, I can't remember. I wasn't in Scouts at all, but I did go to summer camp.
So you probably
And
did that
so
kind
we
of
went
stuff.
to
Yeah.
like cabins and we were attacked by black flies for weeks.
Yep.
And I remember a kid cut himself really badly with one of those pocket knives.
Oh, really?
And had to like go to
We
the
had-
hospital. Yeah.
When I went to camp, we had like an archery range and also a rifle.
Oh yeah, we had an
range.
archery range too.
We had a rifle range, and we actually used 22s. Like we shot bullets.
You had a rifle range?
Yeah, there was, and then the instructor brought like an M16. It wasn't automatic, but it was like an M16, and he let us fire it like on Parents' Day or something like that. And then I think it was so stupidly set up. So the rifle range was just below this road, a public road. So literally where the targets are at the end of this range, maybe like 10 feet up from that was a road where cottagers would drive their cars up, and apparently some bullet ricocheted one day and hit some cottager in the ankle.
That is insane.
Yeah, and then they banned guns, so then we all had to use like pellet guns, and then they moved the range to like another side of the camp.
Well,
That's just the PC police trying to make it difficult for everyone.
I don't agree with any of the. I'm not saying that you shouldn't teach kids survival methods. I think you absolutely should, but I think these things need to be more regulated, and maybe don't give kids knives and guns.
According to this movie, this regulation is shutting down the Eagle Scouts, even though they can seemingly operate with no problem at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, they just don't have enough sponsorship
There's
or
less
something like that.
people there, so it's showing that like it's out of popularity. It's out of vogue.
until one of the kids at the rifle range
Gets shot.
gets shot.
So they're
And
like,
dies, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Because they say later on, someone goes like, "You killed this person."
It is never mentioned that he dies until
I assumed,
almost near the end of the
I
movie.
assumed he died because people wouldn't be freaking out as much if he was fine.
I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah,
if he
the
was in a
PC
coma
police
or
will
something.
freak out over any little
If a
thing.
kid gets shot at a rifle range at a
Wait,
camp,
do
and
they
he
ever
survives.
explain why they want to like shut down the Eagle Scouts?
No, I'm
No.
telling you, there is a deeper conspiracy here.
Oh,
and you
no.
don't really
We
find
know
out why.
we know why they're trying to shut down the Eagle Scouts. It's because they're trying to introduce the alternative.
Oh, God.
Which is terrible. But before we get there, our hero, I don't remember what his name is.
It's Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff. Well, that's a good 70s name. He sees that one of his classmates, the bully and villain of the movie, I think he brings a grenade or bomb to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like a little tattletale, Cliff tells his teacher, I think it's that kid's right to carry explosives on him, just like it'd be his right to carry a gun.
He's waving it around in class, too, and showing everybody. But then the teacher kind of confronts him, and he's like, no, I don't have a grenade. Why the metal detector would have detected it. And she's like, yeah, that's right. So,
and then she's like, Cliff, you're wearing your Eagle Scouts uniform because it's September 11th.
Yeah.
You go to the principal's office.
Yeah, and this is where we get the Twinkie. It's just like, God, it's so boring and dry.
But we get a video where the principal goes, why don't you join this alternative Eagle Scouts? So if this was like a crazier movie, like the alternative Eagle Scouts would be like a Nazi or fascist-based group that works for a government that's trying to crush, I don't know, small business or something like that.
Right. Yeah, and this is like the only hint of, kind of satire, satirical humor that was like, okay, if they just push this a bit more, this could be kind of funny.
But what is it satiring? It seems like it's satiring having a great time.
It's Boys of the Nation, it's called. And it's like just like a send-up of the Boy Scouts, but I guess they're making fun of it. So it shows, you're not allowed to use knives or guns or any of this sort of this stuff.
Yeah, what you do instead is watch movies.
You watch movies, you bake muffins, which sounds delightful.
Sounds great. Yeah, you give each other hugs.
You hang out, you go to the mall and try on clothes.
Yeah,
and
shopping.
I honestly didn't even get that it was a satire at first because I was like, this is great. This is what
gay
boys
panic.
need.
It's like,
it's gay panic.
Don't be emasculated.
They're painting each other's nails.
Yeah, they're doing their toenails.
Yeah, and then you can win the highest award, which is called the Flaming Torch.
They put that in just for the people that did get it.
So it's like, okay, you have this gay panic thing about, wow, look how gay these kids are for doing this. Like, wait a minute.
What normal kids would do, and you should actually normalize.
Meanwhile, actually, like, kids are being raped in like the Boy Scouts. But, never mind. Never mind that.
But like, as far as like the politics in this movie goes, there's a lot of bad things. But the worst thing is, it's very homophobic. Like the two like PC police are also like. They're meant to be mocked because they're two like bumbling men that are in their tiny little car.
Yeah, they've got their smart car that they're driving around in, and
they're like making fun of each other for not being manly enough. And it's
the women have no role in this movie either. Cliff's mom is seemingly an alcoholic, and Cliff's sister exists only to be kidnapped.
Yeah, that's basically it. And then every other woman is like a shrew who's like trying to sue everyone. And
I love the news reports though in this movie, which are classic like right-wing conservative fiction films where it's like them up against like the worst green screen in the world, and they're like, the Boy Scouts, they're pretty much terrorist groups.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes from like, a boy was shot to they're terrorist groups, which is an overreaction, of course. So it's a satire of this overreaction, but yet it's kind of not a satire because that really happens. But it's like, well, blame channels like Fox News and stuff, and talking points. It's also like a guy who's supposed to be like a late night talk show host in front of a wrinkly curtain, who's like, "Whoa, the Boy Scouts of America, more like the Dead Scouts of America or whatever."
That's the thing. It's like everything is so lame. It's like, we want to make fun of this, but we don't know how, so we'll just have the guy saying this. It's not even a joke.
It's like the same level as like the RoboCop remake. Remember Samuel Jackson was like the pundit.
Not even.
Yeah, you're lifting the last Eagle Scout to the level of the RoboCop remake.
No way.
Same in my mind.
No, this doesn't even attempt jokes or anything.
And then Cliff decides to retaliate for having to watch that video that's not manly by I tried very hard to say a bunch of words there that would not be offensive.
By putting up flags.
Putting up flags. I gotta say, Colin, you being the oldest of us, have you found it difficult to change your language over the years when people are like, oh, you can't say that anymore?
No.
No, me neither.
No, not at all.
You know what? That's a lie. Because I did react maybe like when I was like, I don't know, 17, being like, why can't I say this word that I say all the time?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it's bad. I just say something else. And it just disappears from your vocabulary.
Well, being a child, growing up in the 80s, so I was probably like, I was literally the Stranger Things kids. Stranger kids. I was their age. I was like, oh my God, the shit we said back then. Like,
well, I mean,
we just didn't know any better, obviously.
We all come from that. And I mean, I grew up in a smaller town, you know?
Everybody called things gay.
Of course.
Dozen times a day?
Yeah.
Everything
that was part of my
gay.
vocabulary for
we didn't even know what it meant.
long time.
I don't think I knew what it meant.
No.
It was just like,
And when I did find out I knew what it meant, I was okay with it. And I remember like having conversations with my like people on like the playground and saying like, I think that it's okay. And then other people wouldn't. They all had religious parents, so I wonder why, right? But I would still use it as just like synonymous for like, that's stupid. And,
Yeah, which is bad in its own right.
It's just like being more creative.
I think Gaylord was a big thing too. That was we say Gaylord all the time. I
think that's more of an 80s thing, because I think that's said in the Monster Squad, isn't it?
Oh, is it really?
One of them called the
I'm
other one a
sure
Gaylord.
it
Yeah.
is.
I don't think I didn't say that when I was a kid. It was just like everything's gay, which again, when you just take a step back and you're like, what is the context for this? It's because they think that people that are gay are stupid.
Yeah,
that's why you're using that word.
Or bad.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Or just
bad.
lame.
Yeah, I just won't use it anymore then.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've always used this word.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to change.
Only people that say that are like really old people.
Yes.
Just at that age, they can't change.
Yeah, but I mean, things have changed recently where it is kind of like more and more often that we're deciding not to use certain words. And I think that that's okay, because I'm not saying that everyone should just... The people that are like, quote unquote, offended are not just doing it, for the hell of it. It creates an actual culture of hate and most often violence against that group. So all you have to do is just change your lexicon a little bit, and you could technically be saving lives, It's true. If you think about it.
I'm glad April's jumping in front of that bullet.
Wow.
Right at the end.
All right. Here we go.
So I'm sure that we've already said a whole bunch of stuff in this episode, but that's fine. We try our best.
It's funny.
But,
well, listening to the commentary track, it explains so much, because this guy, I don't know if you've ever heard of the podcast. April brought it up. It's called, Sleep With Me?
Sleep With Me, or the Go to Sleep podcast. Oh, yeah, Justin, you know it.
Oh, yeah, because my partner Emily edited
That's right.
it for a few months.
Yeah, it's if you're having trouble sleeping, this guy reads a lot about very boring topics, and he has a very kind of monotone, very soothing voice like this.
Yeah, this guy kind of sounds like that.
If you just listen to him for a bit, after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you're sawing logs.
It's a great podcast if you need help sleeping.
So that's exactly what the director sounded like on the commentary track. It was just the most monotone, dry, boring person imaginable.
I guess that kind of explains how the movie turned out as well.
Exactly. And it was one of those, like, there was nobody else with him, so it was just him, and he was kind of struggling to find things to talk about.
I'm kind of surprised
that's my church in the background, that I go to.
I'm surprised this movie isn't on Amazon Prime, at least in the States, because do you know how much is on Amazon Prime? Like, everyone's movie is on Amazon.
It's because Amazon Prime is user accessible, so you can submit stuff to it.
Well, maybe he
could get his movie up there, no problem. He would just need to make subtitles for it, and that may be a bridge too far for him.
Is that the only requirement?
I bought.
Yeah, you need to hit like certain quality specs, but it's really easy if you know how to like do simple editing.
I'm guessing I bought the DVD from him specifically.
Definitely.
I didn't look at the name.
Who else would be selling a copy of this movie?
Well, this movie is similar to, although nowhere near as good as like Neil Breen, in that it's not about this guy pumping himself up. It's about, I have an agenda that I want to push.
Neil Breen's politics are very noxious as well.
Oh, yeah.
But they are so, his politics are, I want to kill half of the world because they are bad.
Yeah.
But at least, like, the movies are so bizarre and incompetent that...
And it has that vanity aspect, too.
It does,
oh,
sure.
Yeah.
But there's just, like, a certain fascination when you watch his movies. You're like, wow. What is his brain like?
Did you hear that he did like a 10-hour masterclass on directing that you could watch?
Yeah, I saw.
I'm not going to watch that.
We didn't see it, but we saw a review of it. It's like 5.5 hours or something. And it just looks so terrible.
A lot of it is just clips of his movie cut together.
Yeah, apparently he'll just show clips from his movies for like 40 minutes or something, like in a row. And then just cut back, and like the entire thing is like,
Neil Breen is one of those guys that I'm like, how does he like function day to day?
That's what I'm wondering. He's such a bizarre person. I think he just goes into like cryostasis and goes back.
That's how he looks so young.
He's got some.
Yeah, he's like a Tommy Wiseau. I can't tell how old he is.
Yeah, we're gonna find like old photographs from the Civil War, and like Neil Breen is there. Or he's an alien. It could be one of the other.
Yeah.
He's Space Jesus.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of Stargate, when the alien comes down in the spaceship and takes over that guy's body, and then he's
been a long time.
Eternally youthful. Trust me, it happens.
Stargate. It's also a fairly boring movie. Moving on. But
Okay.
Stargate Atlantis, great show.
Yeah,
Never
really?
seen an
I used to-
episode. Here, Ted Raimi's on it.
Ted Raimi's on it? He must have came in later, because I watched the first season of that.
Ted Raimi, he was on Sequest DSV.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Not Stargate. Wait, this is Stargate Atlantis, right?
Stargate Atlantis.
So there was
were like
dueling,
3 or
like
4
underwater sci-fi shows.
Stargate Atlantis had Jason Momoa and my
Right.
babe, David Hewlett. That's why I watched it.
Okay. They were all, there were like 10 Stargate shows, and they were all shot in Vancouver.
Well, of
I did
course.
not know there was a Sequest. I thought it was like Stargate Sequest or whatever.
No, there was actually Michael Ironside took over in Sequest, and it became something like Sequest 2049 or something like that.
It was Stargate SG-1.
$29.99. Speaking of the Raimis, wait, we got to get back into the plot of this movie though, because our hero goes on the run.
Yeah.
because he just put up a bunch of American flags.
He's a
That is the
wanted man,
worst
yeah.
thing that he does in this movie.
He's being chased by the PC police, who I swear to God. Okay, so this is really funny. I went to IMDb, and I'm like, God, one of these, like the white guy, I could swear it was somebody. I thought it was like Antonio Sabato Jr. And so I went to IMDb to look it up. Half the cast isn't listed on the IMDb credits. And I don't know if they deleted their
They're all
own
local
credit.
people. There's no way that.
But not even the lead guy.
Wait, what's the guy that acts in the Snake Eater films?
Oh,
That's-
Lorenzo Lamas.
Yeah, Lorenzo Lamas. He became a crazy right-wing guy too, right?
Well, that's why I expected it. It looked like somebody that I recognized, but I can't find him anywhere on
No,
IMDb.
he's got one of those faces.
I don't know.
Snake Eater, Canada's own action franchise.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, those are like purely Canadian movies.
Oh, it's awesome. We got to watch us some Snake Eater.
So the police, who are not really the police, are after the last Eagle Scout, which he's calling himself. And I honestly watched this last night. I can't even remember the exact sequence of events, but he's on the run. And then it comes out that he finds out who shot the boy in the shooting range at the Boy Scout camp that he was at.
At the very beginning of the movie,
He sees him running
so
away.
Not once has this murder ever been brought up. First of all, you don't know that the kid's dead. They never mention it. I don't know. You probably just assumed or something. They never mention it.
April's like, I saw where that bullet went in. There's no way that kid's getting
Went
out
right
of it.
through the heart.
Right through the heart. And so it is never mentioned.
Okay, we got to talk about the watch.
Oh, and the gizmos and the gadgets.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Cliff has a best friend who creates gizmos to track people, which is what we need to do in this PC world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He has GPS tracking. So what he kind of just builds like a texting watch.
He builds an Apple Watch out of a camera phone.
Yeah, it's really clunky. It has a camera on it, and
It's like a bunch of exposed computer chips.
Wires.
Yeah.
It looks like shit.
So we also learn that the bully who brought the bomb to school
Zeke.
has also been setting bombs around town, I guess.
He's a real bomber, man. He should play. He should play that video game.
he's a terrible bomber, by the way.
He bombs
Oh,
things like 5 times.
Yeah.
He goes to the warehouse where Cliff's sister works, because I guess Bomberman also dated her and they broke up.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he
that's
sued
right.
her because she broke up with him, because that's something that can happen in this new world.
100 in Obama's
Someone
America.
can just say something you don't like, and then you can sue the pants off
Like, do
them.
people understand that, like, that suing stuff? It happens where it's like rich right-wing people sue people.
Suing
because
people
they have
is
a lot of money.
expensive.
They like pound them into the ground.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is actually my
best,
favorite
most exciting part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give this movie credit, even though it's very boring. It tries to be an action movie at certain parts. There's explosions, there's guns, there's fistfights. It's done pretty lamely.
You just skipped over the greatest action part. There's a chase scene on scooters.
Yeah, in this warehouse, which obviously somebody worked at and they had access to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Scooter seems like a real hipster liberal thing to me.
Yeah, I don't know why the scooter...
It should have been in like Jeeps.
Maybe it's all they
Hummers.
had in this world.
Yeah, so they're going around and they hit a few cardboard boxes. It's fun. The girl is like tied up with a pipe bomb that has a timer on it, and he rescues her and they jump out, and then there's some really lame special
CG
effects.
explosion.
Yeah, I liked it because it was silly and there needed to be more of that in it, quite frankly. But at least if it wasn't for these like failed attempts at action schlock, it would just be people talking, and I don't want
so
that.
bad.
You know?
Well, the one thing is, like, speaking of the explosion, that I don't even think that you see.
They show it for like a second, and
Yeah.
it's like...
They always
It's like
show the-
transparent over what it's.
Yeah, you're
blowing up.
kind of waiting for something to happen, and it kind of happened earlier on in the rifle range scene where they have these potato guns, and then his Gizmo friend builds this like Uber potato gun,
I think it has a taser on it.
and he puts a taser gun in it to power it, and you're thinking, wow, this is gonna be amazing, and they just show the reaction of people, and you don't even see the gun firing or it hitting anything. You just see the aftermath, and it's like, oh,
They didn't have the tech.
kind of lame.
They should really take that away from the kids. I don't think they should be playing around with that.
Well, later he puts a sandwich in the potato gun and shoots Zeke with a sandwich that knocks him off his feet.
Yeah, this is how they stop the bad guy. What do you mean they should take the potato gun? The other kids have guns. Like guns going.
What
I mean,
was the name
they
of
should
that
take away the
sandwich place?
tasers that they can put in the gun.
Oh, I think he stole that from the camp director. Or
Why does the camp counselor have a taser?
I don't know.
He threatens to tase the kids as well.
He did. I think
And
he
the scout leader's like, yeah, maybe they should shut us down. It's like, yeah, they should.
He's got a speech impediment for whatever reason.
Because it's based on someone the director knew. That's why.
Okay.
Oh, April coming in was the first 30 minutes of the commentary
Whoa.
track. Okay, so we also learn that the head of the Eagle Scouts is in hiding.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
It's like an old man who's like hiding in a warehouse.
It is like a warehouse. Yeah. So I guess the Boy Scouts have gone underground. Mm-hmm. And so they want to give Cliff his Eagle badge or something. I don't know what it's called exactly. But he has to go into this warehouse and go to like the end of this aisle and
He says an oath.
says an oath. And then what does he have to do?
Well, whatever he does, he doesn't get to finish doing it because I forget what happens, but he has to leave.
He has to go back to the camp in order to receive his Eagle badge.
I can't remember exactly the sequence of
That
events.
kid wants his Eagle badge so bad, but when he meets the Eagle Scout leader, we learned what really happened to his dad.
Oh,
Which
God.
Yeah.
made me laugh so hard.
So we flash back in time, and it's sort of like a scene that we brushed over at the beginning where you see his dad and another Boy Scout leader. They're firemen, and they're dealing with this fire, and then you just see the aftermath where his dad has been killed. His mother's being told, and she's crying. But now we get a flashback, and the father runs into the fire, which, again, you don't see. Everything is off screen.
There's no smoke or anything.
You don't even see the fire.
You also don't see the lake that they're supposedly taking water from.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because the PC police show up, and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's endangered fish in this lake that you're siphoning water out of. You can't use it.
Yeah, so then they call the mayor or congressman.
Yeah. Or senator?
Yeah, and then the dad's friend is arrested. So the dad is like on the walkie-talkie. You hear him like, "Oh, I'm in the fire. Help!
I need
We
water."
need water." And they're like, "Oh, he's gonna kill the fish." So they arrest him and take him away.
But like the PC police are like, hey, you're going to have to get out of there.
Yeah. Hey, leave the fire.
Yeah,
But the thing is, this isn't a scene about environmentalism gone mad because the mayor or the mayor's like little lackey with the glasses, they sent the PC police there on purpose. At least this is my reading of it, to kill his father. I don't know exactly
no,
why.
It doesn't seem like that.
well, you never
because they
find
lean
out.
in and whisper at one point, we'll do anything to save the environment.
but then they
no
call-
matter what the cost.
Yeah, well, he calls after and he's like, it's done.
yeah.
you know?
Anytime they show that lackey, And they
He
had
looks suspicious.
They had a cutaway to him later in the movie where they kind of imply that he had something to do. But that fire scene took place 3 months after the scene where the father was at the convention with putting the kids out on stage for them to get booed. So maybe
he didn't like that. Maybe he just doesn't like Scouts. So he wanted.
Yeah, maybe because the Scout sexually assaulted him when he was a kid, and he wants to shut it down.
Yeah, but
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Also, Zeke, our antagonist, the guy who killed the young boy, which started everyone hating the Scouts even more. He was hired by, I think, the mayor to do that. But he also hates Scouts because he said they were mean to him or something. He's like, they wouldn't accept me. But this is not explained well enough why they don't accept him.
it's very weird because he's a psychopath.
Scouts are alphas and they're bullies. That's why.
So he's going to be more of an alpha.
And none of them
Billy.
are at all. He's like
No.
No, none of them are.
He's like a raging
Yeah, they're
psychopath.
all real wimps. There's one great scene where there's a guy that runs the warehouse is sitting at his keyboard and he's like, "You've been tweeted."
Yeah,
Just
I remember
to
that.
let you know how lame he is. He uses Twitter. Come on.
Yeah. So our Eagle Scout, Cliff, he hides at the old Scout.
Yeah, he goes back to
place.
scout camp and then he finds like this old barbecue sauce and I
Yeah.
don't know, he catches a fish and we see a live beheading of a
We
fish.
see a fish die on
camera.
camera, and then that is mentioned in the commentary.
fish died
and
for this movie.
and he says, "We didn't let PETA know about that one, so you can't say that no animals were harmed in the making of this movie."
Terrible.
Yeah. So near the end of the movie, how does it wrap up, guys?
Wait, so
He eats barbecue
he's
sauce.
cooking this fish and there's like an extended cooking scene where he's going through all these bottles of barbecue sauce and he's smelling them. They're all rotting. And then he dumps the entire bottle of this rotting barbecue sauce in a pan and he's cooking this fish and then it looks like he dumps a big thing of jam in there as well.
But anyway, so he's got a bunch of the thing is about the whole flag thing. A bunch of the people in his neighborhood are pro Scout and they're on his side, and all of these people are supporters of his cause, and they all show up for his Eagle Scout inauguration, and that's allowed to happen. And
Yeah,
I love
they're
the
all
kid.
cheering.
He's so decrepit, and he carries the flag around and kisses it as a ballad plays in the background.
yeah, and there's protesters as well, just because. And he gets up to accept his eagle, and then he's like, I'm
gonna puke.
I don't feel good. I ate something. And so he goes to the bathroom.
And this is my favorite part, this whole bathroom scene.
I don't know why this plot point is even in. You could have done this so much better than just, I gotta take a shit, and then he gets beaten up, and then he's throwing up on you talk about it.
So he goes to the bathroom and he's knocking on the stalls like, oh, I gotta puke. And then Zeke comes out one of the stalls. And again, he's planted another bomb, which is very common. It's like one of those cartoon bombs, like dynamite with a clock tied to it or something. And they get into a fight, it's so bad. But yeah.
Wait, we're getting to the end, Colin. What's your favorite part of this movie?
I'm talking about it right now, man.
Just this
This
scene
bathroom
in
scene
general.
is amazing. Their fist fight is incredible. It's
They're
like-
not.
Yeah, he's jumping over stalls like Yuo Pinkor.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was looking in the credits, I'm like, oh my god.
They're not even close to hitting each other though at all. But the sound effects are very well timed.
It's so bad. And then I think Zeke gets injured, and then
He drags him out.
Cliff drags him out, and then the entire bathroom blows up. And it's a CG explosion and stuff like that. And then so people assume, I guess Cliff goes into hiding, but everyone assumes that he's been killed in the explosion.
And they're like, we never found the body.
We never found the body, so he becomes this martyr for the cause, sort of thing. And his mom's crying, and then his sister goes to the graveyard, to his grave, and he's in a tree, sitting in a tree.
Why did he fake his own death?
I don't know.
And it ends with him, it's the Dark Knight ending.
Yeah, it's the music rises, it cuts to black, and there's a title on screen that says, "Be prepared."
Yeah, and he's like, now I'm gonna go be a superhero.
Do what?
But his sister's in on the gag or whatever. She's like, all right. He's like, how's mom doing? Oh, she's doing okay. It's like, you've traumatized your mother.
Yeah, does
she
mom
thinks you're
know
dead.
she's dead? He's dead?
And he's just, does he live in a tree? I don't understand why.
He lives in a
I have
tree.
a friend at the medical examiners.
Oh, so they faked his death. So what is the purpose? And then he takes his, he's like, well, I never got my Eagle badge or whatever. And then she's like, yeah, you did posthumously. And she puts it on the grave.
And he's like, now that I have it, it doesn't really have that much value.
Yes. And then he does the whole like Dark Knight speech at the end. It's like, I am the last Eagle Scout. And then he just takes the badge and runs off, and that's it.
Which, was that supposed to be silly?
I don't know.
Or was it supposed to be straight? This is when you went into trouble, when you don't know if it's supposed to be played straight.
Assume
or if
everything
it's a
in this
satire.
movie was done to be the exact
I assume the
opposite.
director actually believed these things, and it could go this way if the libs, you know, got power.
Yeah, for sure.
He did say that on the commentary, that people didn't understand his movie.
Yeah, they didn't understand the movie, and that's why he had to like cut all these scenes out. It's because it's so confused in its own right.
Its own politics are messed up. There's also a musical character. I thought it was supposed to be kind of like a Ted Nugent. He's like a guitar man.
Oh yeah, I forget his name.
It's a silly
No,
name.
I thought he was supposed to be more like a Green Day
he kinda
lead
looks
singer,
like that.
because he kind of has that look, like the eyeshadow under the eyes,
Yeah.
the kind of spiky hair.
So it's like the kid in the movie kind of worships him. You know, you see him like listening to his CDs, and then I guess he sees them at the convention with
at like the rally with the governor. So
with Jude Marks,
he's in
and he's
their
like-
pocket, I guess.
Yeah, and he realizes he's like a big shill, so he like mails his CDs to him at the very end, and it's like, what was it? He just like smashes them all. He throws them in a box, and he
Yeah,
says,
and he's like freaked out about it.
"Yeah." He's like, "Oh, the last Boy Scout or
The last
Eagle Scout
You're
is going to kill
sold
me."
out, man. Even though technically all the right-wing senators and congressmen sell out because lobbyists buy their votes, but no, it's this artist that really sells
So
out.
this is really funny. In the commentary track, the director mentions it, and he's like, "Yeah, this rock star character, he was based on, it was like, you know, kind of spoof on celebrities, blah blah blah."
Celebrities who have opinions that I don't agree with.
Yeah, so he goes, he based it on Robin Williams because he saw he's like, oh, I loved Robin Williams, and then I saw one of his stand-up acts at some point, and he was just like slamming everything that I believed in, and I just never wanted to watch another Robin Williams movie again.
So that's why this character was in here. This character does not need to be in this movie at all. There's too many characters in this movie, first of all. But I wonder what Robin Williams said.
Don't know. Probably had some.
It can't have been anything that bad, could it? I mean, Robin Williams just coked up and sweating up a storm.
No,
like,
this would have been after.
Yeah, it sounded like
was on
later Robin
cocaine. It was
Williams.
probably like in the 2000s. But
Yeah.
Oh, so like anti-George Bush or something like that?
Yeah,
I
something
don't
like
know.
that. I don't know what it was.
See, the problem was people who were really right wing. Is there in such a pickle right now with Donald Trump as their representative?
now he identifies as libertarian. He said that.
The director.
Oh, like Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
There you go.
Just uncomfortable silence.
It's another show I can't watch anymore. Not that I'm saying it's because I disagree with them, but I overwatched. I watched it too much, and now I can't. I got my lifetime viewing of it in like 10 years,
like
and
the
I
South
can't
Park,
watch
yeah.
anymore. I can still watch old Simpsons. Though.
I never saw South Park. I mean, I've seen a bunch of episodes, but I just don't think I had the channel or something.
I was
like that.
obsessed with it.
Yeah, you weren't at the right age that me and April were, Colin, where it was like, you shouldn't watch it.
No.
You're an adult. You can watch it. You had no
I
problem
was a
with that.
huge fan of the short that they did. What was it? Fuck.
The
Spirit of Christmas.
Yeah, and so I was a huge fan of that, and I remember watching the premiere. I was in LA for like a computer conference or something like that, and I'm like, wow, I can finally watch all these American channels and watch the premiere of South Park. And then I just didn't have the channel or something when I got back to Canada, so I never saw it until years later.
You didn't play the 30 video games that were released for N64.
No. I heard the Fractured Butthole is pretty good.
I never played that
on
one. I played this.
PS4.
I had the Stick of Truth.
Oh, that one. Maybe I'm thinking of that.
No, the one you're talking about is the sequel to that, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a superhero one. All right, so this is our episode of South Park Cast. I'm Justin the Clue.
I can't even get into South Park. It's a bit of a can of worms for me because it's like there's things about the older episodes that don't age well, but I don't think that you have to be like, oh well, that show's terrible.
No, you can say that about every show.
It was really funny, and I think the
course.
comedy was great. But there's things I look back on and I'm like, well, that's not good. And there's people I watched it with who I think were laughing at things for the wrong reasons. If you know what I mean, like
Unironically.
they didn't like. they're making a satire about this, but I don't think that was picked up by certain people.
Right.
Just like we're getting The Last Eagle Scout wrong, I'm sure.
I just don't get it.
I wish we were talking about The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
The movie.
We're talking about The Last Boy
Do you
Scout.
wish we were talking about that movie, April? Because I can make that wish come true.
Oh, God. I think, whose pick is it next week?
Yeah, you see, we're just getting it all wrong. This is really like a funny, exciting movie that has a lot to say.
Well, I absolutely would not recommend this movie. If you want to watch something similar to this that's way better, watch Idiocracy.
Yeah, we've got to get... Why do we do these listener request things? They're terrible.
Because we are thanking our beloved patrons.
What did we do?
Are we thanking
What did we
them?
do to them?
You know what? I would like to thank them. This was only 90 minutes long.
Why should I thank them for this movie?
It was 100
this
minutes.
is terrible.
It was 100 minutes?
Yeah.
Ugh. Must have passed out.
We've had a very big influx of patrons during this quarantine, so I'm always up for doing anything that helps them. And if we have to suffer through it, then so be it.
We certainly did.
But yeah, as we said before, this movie is available on eBay. If you want to buy it, I probably wouldn't recommend it.
I would not recommend it. It's so boring.
But speaking of patrons, our special full-length episode on Spawn is coming out soon. I'm sorry it got delayed because I was sick. I'm feeling much better now, though. So as soon as we have time, we're going to record that and release it. And it's going to be a full hour of Colin talking about the movie he worked on.
And meeting Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, do you know what Colin did? Was it maybe the giant demon pup thing?
No,
Who knows? You'll have to listen to find out.
That's a tricky movie to find. We couldn't find it on any streaming platform.
Don't you have the New Line Platinum Collection DVD?
I thought you were going to say New Line has a streaming service. I was like, what?
New Line
crazy.
Plus.
Yeah, it's just Blade and Spawn.
It's available.
That's all they have.
It's available
and
on
Channing
YouTube.
Fat and Mark Wahlberg's The Corruptor.
And the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
It's available to
yeah,
rent
that's right.
on YouTube.
Yeah, you can't. You
which
can
is
only
the
get it on
thing.
YouTube. Which
We
is
haven't
something...
rented anything off YouTube since Ed, that chimp movie.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, why wouldn't they have Spawn anyway?
we did it.
It's not even on iTunes.
No, which
All right,
is strange.
so I'm excited. Spawn.
But yeah, so the Spawn episode coming out as soon as possible. Thank you everybody for being patient. And if you want to donate to the Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. And you can email us at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com. Twitter, we're at no such thing pod. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and Letterboxd at April Etmansky.
You can follow me on Twitter at DeClueJ, and you can listen to me every week on the Important Cinema Club podcast. And I need to make a plug for something that people can throw money at.
Ooh, go ahead.
Which is the Ninja Vortex Blu-ray that's released through Gold Ninja Video, because it's the first Blu-ray to ever feature a commentary with No Such Thing as a Bad Movie. Yes, Colin Cunningham and April Etmansky do commentary on Ninja Terminator.
What, we did?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my God.
I got you while you were sleeping. I hypnotized
God,
you
already.
and got you to participate.
It was a great time. I love doing commentaries. Maybe we'll do another one in the future. But
Yeah, that was fun.
Ninja Terminator, very funny movie.
Yep, and you can get it. It's at goldninjavideo.com. It's the Ninja Vortex, a Godfrey Ho and Friends collection. And there's limited to 300. So if you don't act now, it could be gone forever.
Ooh, it's going to go into the DeClue vaults.
That's right.
Where can people find you, Colin?
Oh, on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA. That is all.
That's it.
Every time Colin's like, it's how you spell
I
it.
don't know.
That's it for this
Why
week.
don't you just change it to like C. Cunningham or something like that?
I'm sure there's other Colin Cunninghams out there.
Of course, there's like an actor.
Oh, yeah, right.
Did I ever tell you
There's
about
an
that?
evil one.
Did I tell you about what I actually got his, what was it, like the Canadian Screen Award nomination?
You did.
Yeah. Colin Cunningham.
Okay, so basically the Canadian Emmys back in the day, it used to be called the Gemini Awards. And I actually won one. I got like an award. And so I guess I was put on the list. Like they add you to the Academy.
Wait, have you won one? What did you
I'm
win
looking
for?
at it right now.
It was a TV movie of the week way back when. It was about the Halifax explosion.
Explosion?
Yeah.
Visual effects?
Yeah. So we did like CG boats and stuff like that. And so I've got a Gemini Award. And then they later merged the movie, I think was called the Genies.
Yeah.
It's a Genies and the Geminis.
Yeah, Genies and the Geminis, and now they've merged them together as the Canadian Screen Awards, the CSAs. So I guess he was nominated for acting in some show, and then I got mailed his nomination. So I had to phone them up and say, you got the wrong Colin Cunningham. Like, we're probably both in the same system.
And wasn't he in some movie we watched? I want to say it was like Resident Evil.
That's
or
right.
Something.
Yeah, he was. Oh, no, it was The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, terrible movie.
And so I had to like phone them up and tell them. They're like, oh, it's fine, just mail it back or whatever. And then I emailed him, or I messaged him on Facebook or something like that. Said, hey, by the way, whatever. Never replied.
He's a much more famous Colin Cunningham.
Son of a bitch.
Depending on who you talk to.
Yeah, sure.
So that's it for this week. Again, sorry for the delays and the mix-up with the schedule. We should be back at it next week. Spawn episode coming out soon. Stay happy, stay safe. I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin the Clue.
I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie, and you better be hanging your flag on your front lawn, or it's unpatriotic.
Oh, Canada.
Justin, singing of the national anthem is offensive to some people.
I'm sorry.
Especially
it
in
is.
French.
Yeah,
I speak English.
You don't want people to call the PC police on you.
Yeah, what would it be called in Canada? It's like different. It's like
PC police?
La PC police.
La police de PC.
Yeah.